Hello and welcome to the Lullaby Trust. This presentation gives you more information about the safest room temperature for your baby, as well as the risks associated with overheating and overwrapping. It is important to make sure that your baby is at a comfortable temperature, not too hot or too cold. The chance of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, is higher in babies who get too hot. A room temperature of 16 to 20 degrees Celsius with light bedding or a lightweight, well-fitted baby sleeping bag is comfortable and safe for sleeping babies. Check your baby to ensure they are a suitable temperature and their clothes and bedding are appropriate for the room temperature. Check your baby's chest and/or the back of their neck to make sure their skin doesn't feel hot, clammy or sweaty to the touch. If the skin feels clammy, it means they are too hot, so remove a layer of bedding or a layer of clothing. Remember to regularly check your baby's temperature and position when in a sling, car seat, pram or pushchair. Don't use their hands or feet as a guide as they will always feel cooler than the rest of their body. If your baby is unwell with a cold or fever, they may be warmer than usual. It is important that you put fewer layers on an unwell baby so they have the opportunity to lower their body temperature. Don't feel tempted to wrap an unwell baby up more than usual. It is easy for your baby to become overheated. If baby sleep bags are used, they should be well fitted. Use the correct tog value for the season and do not use any other bedding. If your baby is cold, add an extra layer of clothing instead. Sleep your baby in the feet to foot position with their feet at the bottom of the cot so they can't wriggle down under the sheets or blankets. Firmly tucked in sheets and blankets, not above shoulder height, or a baby sleep bag are safe for a baby to sleep in. Be sure to remove any soft toys from the cot before each sleep period. Don't use loose bulky bedding such as pillows, quilts and duvets, and remember a folded blanket provides twice the insulation. Weighted swaddles, weighted blankets and weighted sleep bags are not recommended for babies under 1 year due to the risk of overheating and head covering. Do not use a sheepskin in a cot or Moses basket or other sleep space. It is important that your baby's sleep space is firm and flat and has a waterproof cover. Adding a sheepskin can reduce firmness and risk overheating. Some parents choose to swaddle their baby. It is important not to overwrap your baby so they don't get too hot, for example when swaddling. Parents and caregivers who wish to swaddle should be informed how to do this correctly to reduce the chance of SIDS. Never put a swaddled baby to sleep on their front or side. Use materials such as a thin muslin or thin cotton sheet. Do not use blankets or place any additional bedding over a swaddled baby. Ensure baby is not overdressed under the swaddle, has their head uncovered and does not have an infection or fever. Check baby's temperature to ensure they do not get too hot. Swaddles should not be applied very tightly, but should be secure enough not to come apart, as loose material can increase the chance of SIDS if pulled over a baby's head. Stop swaddling with arms wrapped inside the material when a baby shows signs of rolling. There is a risk that they could roll onto their tummy and won't be able to roll back again. Never swaddle a baby when bed sharing. Your baby should not wear a hat indoors, even if they did whilst being cared for in hospital. Wearing hats or hoods during day or night sleeps can increase the risk of SIDS by more than 3 times. The head is an important source of heat loss for a baby. A room temperature of 16 to 20 degrees is the optimum temperature for sleeping babies. It can be difficult to judge the temperature in the room and may be useful to use a room thermometer in the rooms where your baby sleeps, day and night. Avoid putting your baby's cot or Moses basket next to a radiator or in direct sunlight. It's very important to check your baby and adjust their bedding and clothing. For hot rooms, close the blinds or curtains. If safe to do so, keep a window open during the day to keep the room from getting too hot. Putting a fan in the bedroom can help to circulate the air, but make sure it is out of reach and not pointed directly at the baby. Babies are unable to regulate their temperature, so could end up getting too cold and might not be able to move out of the way of the fan which is blowing directly at them. A fan which rotates is better, so the air is being moved around. The fan can be pointed in the general direction of the cot, but not blowing directly and constantly on the baby. Reduce layers. Just a nappy with no bedding is fine in really hot weather, but check with your midwife or health visitor if your baby is a newborn. We know that the colder months may be difficult for families, and it can be tempting to wrap your baby up to keep them warm. Use sheets or lightweight blankets. Do not use thick, padded blankets or duvets. Duvets and pillows should not be used for babies under 12 months. If using a baby sleeping bag, choose a TOG rating suitable for the season. If you think your baby is cold, add an extra layer of clothing. Don't add an extra blanket. If bed sharing, keep all parental bedding away from the baby. Don't sleep them under parental bedding to keep them warm. With adults in the bed, it may create a warmer environment, so adjust bedding and clothing accordingly. Consider what you will wear to keep warm yourself. Don't use hot water bottles in any baby sleep space, cot, crib, Moses basket, or an adult bed, as they can make your baby too hot. Don't place your baby directly in front of a heat source. Babies are unable to regulate their temperature, so could potentially end up getting too hot and are unable to move out of the way of the radiator, for example. It is important to always follow safe asleep advice for every sleep, day and night, whether your baby is sleeping in a cot, crib, or a Moses basket. These are the key things to remember. Babies should always be placed on their backs for every sleep, in a clear, flat, separate sleep space, and keep them smoke-free day and night. There are lots of places that you can look for advice and support. The Lullaby Trust website and social media have useful information about safer sleep. You can also contact us at the Lullaby Trust directly in a variety of ways. If you have any questions as a result of watching this presentation, then please contact our information and advice helpline or by email. We are also available by telephone or email for bereavement support. There should also be local contact numbers in your baby's Red Book. Lastly, if you are worried that your baby is ill, the NHS website has lots of information in general about babies and also specific information if you think your baby is unwell. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation.